Grand Rising family, it is Shay Seeking, and this is Not Your Mama's Bible Study, along with a little bit of history lied. Excuse me. And today I'm going to go ahead and do something that I said that I was going to start doing on the channel, and that is like a word a week. Okay, so what is it? Oh, it's Thursday now. It's about 1:20 in the morning. So I figured I really wanted to put something down today, so I ended up deciding that this might be, now you heard that, might be a way to get one of these words in, because it's been coming up a lot lately, and it's always been there. So I figured that we can just go ahead and read through the etymology of racist. I think we throw the word around a lot, and do we really know what it means? You know, to each his own. Everybody's going to come out with a different interpretation, but let's just see if we can move past, since it's something that people like to throw out, people of color and others a lot. Let's go ahead, but usually it's geared towards a certain group of people, which are the Aboriginal peoples, usually of a land, and those would be the earlier people of the land that have been lied to, stolen from, misused, abused, mentally, physically, emotionally, for generations after generations. Excuse me. And they call these people in the caste system the Dalit people, the untouchables, the outcasts. And here in America, we would call them Aboriginals, and other places in the world. So again, usually these terms are used. When you're going to use one of these terms, you're going to be talking about people of color, okay, on the bad end of the spectrum. Okay, it's rarely used to say that this is something used towards other peoples. Okay, so let's go ahead. A racist, a noun, 1932. Okay, now notice that it doesn't say like 1400. It doesn't say 1500s. Usually when we look at these terms, we'll get older dates when we're looking at the biblical aspect. So again, 1932 as an adjective, from 1938, from race, excuse me, ist, racism, is in use by 1928. So let's go ahead. Since it says from race, we may not do the whole race and then the terms. Oh, okay, and this is pretty like direct. It's not in, yeah, I don't know. This page looks a lot different than the normal pages that I pull up, I think. Let's see. Yeah, normally they look like this. Okay. But, okay. Let's see. Noun 1, acting, act of running. Again, bear with me. I should be in bed. I'm horribly tired, but I just want to do this and get this going. So, act of running. Okay. 1300. Now we're getting a little bit, we're going back into the past a little bit. From Old Norse, ras, running, rush of water. Now, let's just think about that for a second, because when I saw water, I got excited. I ain't gonna lie. So in our Not Your Mama's Bible study, and we're looking in Genesis, and when we talk about water, you guys know what I feel like that represents. I've given you several different ways of looking at it, to where it usually runs back to meaning the same thing. Now, flooding, Noah's flood, running, rush of water. Again, when you get a gush or a burst or a overwhelming amount of something. So if you leave your water running in your sink and it's plugged up, you're going to have a flood. If you leave water running a lot of times, you may just have it running, but a lot of times it can cause overflowing or something of this, right? And it brings me back to, I think, something that Dr. Claude Anderson said a while back that race was not always used as the term that how we use it now, just to say that somebody's being mean or bad to me. It is about a race, kind of like a political race. And then again, we're even talking about this whole impeachment thing and the running. This goes back to even something we were just talking about yesterday in the other video, about these presidents that Genesis even speaks about, saying that God wanted a man to preside, which president and preside are basically the same thing, or you can use that term interchangeably. And that's just funny how we're running. Um, they're running for president to preside over. At one point in time, it was the waters, and then it turned over into the waters and the earth. Okay, and the air or the sky or whatnot. Okay, so again, and this is reminding me of Noah's flood in the sense it doesn't have to be Noah's flood, because I think Noah's flood came maybe a little bit later, possibly, but again, we're just talking about running, the rush of waters. Now, what happened also when he says stock the sea and bring over your kind and replenish the earth, and to he put the man there to keep the garden and to trim it and do all these other things in order to get it ready. So I'm sorry, this chair is kind of uncomfortable. So I know we're stuck here with this, but I just want to, this is why the videos are so long, to get people to kind of really take it in all different directions with it, so it can really resonate with you. So again, the who's running is more than likely going to be someone of the waters, a foreigner, someone who was put here for rain. Okay, I know a lot of you think that we're talking about rain in Genesis 2, but we're actually talking about rain like a king would reign. Okay, rush of water, cognate with Old English, rise, I don't know, a running. Now, Claude Anderson says something about it's been always about a running, meaning a race to the goods. Okay, so it's just so funny that we just saying that, oh, they're racist, they don't like our skin color, they don't want us in our schools, they don't want us to do this, they don't want to drink from the fountain that we want. Oh my goodness. And this caused struggles for people. Is it to the extent that we've been given the perception to see? Could be not, but at the end of the day, okay, it's always been a race to something else, okay, first. And then they used it in an undermining way in order to have people attack mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, a certain group of people that they wanted to keep at the bottom of their caste system so that they would never get up. So a running, a rush, a leap, a jump, a storming, okay, an attack. This is an attack. It's kind of like a parasitic attack on a certain race, because again, I keep telling you what I feel like I think I'm reading in Genesis is the creation of a nation on top of a civilization. Okay, if we can even use civilization. There was already people before the Bible was written. In this case, when he started to create, he wanted these people to be made so that they can replenish something that was already there. The earth. And if we look at the term earth in the biblical form, it is talking about inhabitants of a land, the people of a land. Okay, so if we look at the Americas, and now that we know that American so-called Negroes, some of us were descendants, okay, but now we're ascending mentally, okay, and that's all really that matters, of the original Aboriginal first peoples of the America that they dared not speak to you about. Okay, now this doesn't disregard anything else. This is not saying that other people weren't here. The claim that I'm making is that prior to colonization, there were Negroids, so-called Negroid Indian American Aborigines here, and they were dark-skinned people. Okay, prior to the slave trade. Okay, which was fabricated. Period. They only brought 250,000 Africans here in total during the entire slave trade. So let's just end that. Okay. The reason why the numbers multiplied was not because we were making babies. It was because they were pulling people out of the woodworks and then entering them into their system. Okay. And this is when you get your census and all this other things here. So, or else a survival of the Old English word with spelling influenced by the Old Norse one. The Norse and Old English words are from Proto-Germanic. Again, I don't get into details about what all that means. We're just here for the goods. To rave, rage. I was thinking ravage. German racing. Old English. There's another pronunciation. To rage of fire. Now, what is fire and brimstone? You know, see, you take one and you go somewhere. Let's just see. Because they're going to bring you to anger. Remember the Bible was saying this to a certain people? Oh, okay. Well, we know that what this means, but 13th century, madness, insanity, fit of frenzy. I mean, this is what, is this something that you can relate to? Anger. And this is what it was going to kindle or bring these people to anger and jealousy and wrath and all these things, okay? Fierceness in battle, violence of storm, fire. Again, a lot of times when we're talking about the biblical aspect, you got to get what you've been led to believe or believe in your churches. The churches have been put there to water down the whole reality that exists in history in the Bible between you and the people in that book. This is your story. No, don't let nobody tell you that it's not. You're involved here. Now, is this God your God? Is what you have to ask yourself. Or is he the one that has been against you the whole time and they have fooled you like they fooled you into everything else, into worshiping these idols and these false gods, instead of looking always outside of yourself and for someone that does not even look like you to be a savior when it's already within you, with the very savior supposedly that's supposed to be coming was telling you that. But then they have church to reiterate the fact that that's what we're talking about. You got to go within. Okay? And once everyone starts to do that, naturally things will occur and manifest. Just saying. Madness, rage, fury, be mad, rave, let's see, violent. And now they've gotten us so far in that they don't even have to do this anymore. You're doing it for them. Fighting over corners that don't belong to none of you. They used to, for a different reason, but now they don't belong to any of you. And this is what again, this is not what I see all the time, but this is what, hip hop and everything has led the people to. It's a manipulative mind control in that music. This is the only reason why they've given it to you. Do you think they made the hip hop and the music industry for your delight only? No. There's always a catch. There's nothing for free. Okay? Not even your mind. It's been under attack since you were in the womb. Originally meant hydrophobia. Okay. Compound based on the word dog. It could mean rabies, rage, fashion. They use it in that to play. So again, the main thing about this, I think, when it comes to our people, is we don't want to feel played. We want to feel like we're always the biggest, the baddest. We want to brag about what we have, what we look like, and what we, when it comes to the materialistic things in their material world. But what about the inside? How do you feel there? How are our children turning out from the generational annihilation from all angles of a people? How are we really doing health-wise, mentally? You know what I'm saying? From all this going on, whether all of this stuff happened the way they said it or not, it's still a form of warfare. Okay. Meaning be furious, speak passionately, go mad. First recorded in 1300. Okay, so rabid. Okay, enraged, make furious or mad, go wild, go mad. Okay. Mania, angry, fierce, fury. Okay, we get the just. What is this? Collective name for the avenging deities sent from Tartarus to punish criminals. Huh. It's funny that we're talking about Tartar or Tartarians. In later accounts, 3 in number and female. 3 in number and female. Hence, in English, figuratively, an angry woman. Okay. So, if we had to pick who, okay, by appearance, people may uh, internalize fear, especially when it comes to other races, and more likely they're women, when they see the black man, the so-called black man, or the Aboriginal man. There's a cause. They've always used something with them messing with a white woman or something, in order, so-called white woman, in order to get themselves in a bind or a fix, whether they did it or not, or it was just a lie. Okay. Because they're going to feel some kind of, the whole clutching your pearls in your purse as you walk down the street next to someone. And then when it comes to the woman, okay, or the female, or or the empress, okay, we'll call her here. She's angry black woman. She's mad. Okay. So who was the first one to be driven mad? Could it be the woman? Could it be the so-called black woman, the Aboriginal woman that had all these things happen to her, and her man, and her children? Okay. The man protects the family in a certain extent, but the woman, or the empress, okay, her family is her everything. Not to say that it's not the same way for a man, but you know what I'm saying. These children came through her womb, okay? And this is why these transgenders and this thing is no good for us, because you don't see how far back it goes. You don't see that the same women that you worship in Hollywood today are not even women. And this is why they act the way that they do. And this is why they portray these things and feed this mess to your daughters and to you when you were younger. And it just keeps going on and on and on. Every so-called woman of color that comes out has to be slutty, trashy, showing her body, doing something filthy. It just has to be this way in order to keep this woman down, because a nation cannot rise any higher than its empress. Okay? So when we're talking about the loneliest people in this country to this day, they would say, or committing so-called committing suicide and going crazy and having all these issues, is the American Aboriginal so-called black woman. Okay. And who would be the lowest? The one they say is can't even find a man to be married to. But a lot of our men have no problem. And I'm not saying this don't go both ways, but we can just see from the outside looking in, or what we've been given the perception of, that if a so-called black man chooses another woman outside of their so-called race, there's more of that than it would be the woman choosing. Because even if she did choose outside of her race, her being the most so-called undesirable, she won't be able to go and pick a Asian man, a Hispanic man, more than likely, or a so-called white man. You see what I'm saying? So again, we have to think about that. Okay. And she's the one bringing the children in. When the father leaves, she's the one that has to hold it down with 5 of them. Okay. Not that this happens all the time, but I'm saying when it does happen, that's affecting, say she has 5 children, that's affecting 6 whole people that are going through this. You don't think she goes through anger, rage, fits of being, it's hard to be a 2 parent family. So why don't we rally around our women? You know what I'm saying? We need to start some type of campaign to rally around our single mothers, even if they're not your sister or your mother or your cousin or your friend. Like, I just think this is the most horrible. I mean, like I don't know. There's something about single mothers that it just gets to me. It gets to me. And I think we should be, we don't need anyone to tell us to do this. How can we do more? Let's start a discussion of what can we do more to make sure that the well-being of these mothers and these children can be held up by the community or the people that do care. Instead of pointing the finger and blaming them for the situation that they're in. Some of them have been going through this. It's a generational thing. Their mothers were there, that, you know, and it's hard to get out. Okay. So again, instead of bashing these women and talking about them, they didn't get there by themselves. There was another party there that I don't know what the circumstances could have been, but have left the building and the children are still there. And the mothers are their mothers are working nowadays. They don't stay home as much. So they have no one that they can fully trust with their children. Do you see what I'm saying? And so then now your children are in the pipeline to prison sooner than ever, because the little 3 hours you get with them after they've been 6 weeks old, you have to go back to work and put them in daycare. I know we're going off the subject, but I just have to go here. You have to put them in daycare. They go from daycare to school, sometimes from daycare to school, back to daycare, then to your arms for 2 hours when you're tired and frustrated and have to cook and prepare. And then they have to go back to bed. And then they're in the teachers and the caregivers, which you don't even know these people. Okay. So I'm just really, it just really hurts my heart of a bluish, so livid, of a bluish leading. Okay, so we get the point. Let's go back to where we were. Mm, 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 mm. How much longer? I mean, how much longer? And the thing is, we don't have to do anything but remove ourselves, refrain ourselves, stop the vote. Instead of rocking the vote, stop the vote. You know what I'm saying? You don't even have to demand anything from, let's not even ask anything from anyone. Stop the vote, stop the major worshiping of these idols in their industry. We're fueling we're in the belly of the beast, but we're feeding it. You know what I'm saying? So when will we realize that it's not the everyday white person that's on your back that you got to be mad at and think that they did this and that, boom, boom. It is actually the industries that you help support by working there, by purchasing their items, by being, this is what I'm saying. So of course we still have to live. We want to live. We're all coming out of this at our own pace, but just realize that, and you'll start cutting down and cutting back. And when and then people will start removing their children from these schools and, relying on each other again. And, so it starts with yourself. Okay. And whatever you can do. Some of us still like to put makeup on. Some of us still like to buy a new pair of shoes. That's fine. But do we have to be overly, overly, overly everything? We have to be overly, having people, proving ourselves to somebody. Overly bad, overly dressed, overly every damn thing. And it's just enough is enough, because really we're hurting on the inside, all of us, men and women alike. And not only us, it is also people that are of other different so-called races that are going through the same thing. So when will we stand up and all look at the top of this pyramid and start pointing the fingers where they need to go? So again, I know I'm way off. I'm meaning a contest of speed. Again, first records 1510, contest of speed. Okay, a contest of okay, where we read that, a contest of speed. Okay, let's see something. The 1500s. Okay, okay. Let's just go back. Okay. Move and teamed accordingly to their kind, and every bird of flight after his kind, and God saw was good. Let them say, be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters and the seas and let. So this sounds like somebody that's in the rush, like get them over there. You know what I'm saying? So again, this is I don't know what it is about this, but this stuff just it just, I don't know, the way it comes together is very uh I don't know how to explain it. Okay. So this is a race. Hurry up and get them over there. And again, what's going to multiply? Hurry, stock the oceans, get them. Let's build these boats. Let's get them over here. You know. So people of common descent. Okay, race, noun 2. A word from the 16th century from Middle French race, earlier raza. Race, breed, lineage, family. Again, this is all what we're talking about in this biblical aspect. Uh, you know, again, okay, and then what was happening on the 6th day? Okay, the 5th day, and let's bring forth the living creature according to their kind, and their and kind, kin is in, you know, just like I say, mankind, kin, kind, um, livestock, land crawlers. These are the ones that are the land crawlers. I guess they are the ones that are, um, you know, on the earth. Okay, the livestock, the dumb beast, and any large, okay, we see what that is, and wild animals, alive, raw, fresh, strong, life. These are your foreigners, okay, according to their kinds, and it was so. These are your foreigners, and again, let's go here again. There's no way, once you open your eyes to this, there's no way to move away from it. This is why I keep bringing it up to you guys. I want you to think about this every time something comes to your mind. I want you to see this chart and see if this is what we're talking about. Okay. These are these people here. Those are the fish. I've been said that. Now I've confirmed it in my mental. This is what I'll stick to from now on. This is the Aboriginal races, the ones that have been put on the bottom. Here's the enmity between their seed and her seed, meaning the land. This is their firmament that they've placed on top of us all. Here are the merchants, the landowners. These are the people that are, okay, these people had no choice. They were usually outcast from their place and sent here as well, or slaves, or worked to death, or poor and hungry, right alongside some of the so-called black communities back then, or the slave. They were used for slave labor or labor too. Just they are a living being, and God blew the breath of life into them, and you are cursed upon the ground forever. There are some of these people that ended up making a mistake and going in onto some of these people possibly, and this is what led them to go back, and this is when they died. And I keep telling you, this is why the serpent said you won't die that death, because it's not dying like you're leaving, you know, like you're gonna perish. We're talking about you're gonna go strike right back down to the ground, and you're gonna be back down there because you came from the earth. Now you're going to take your ass back down there and cursed above all the beasts, which are the worker people. Okay? Forever. Okay? The beasts of the earth according to their kind, and livestock according to their kind, and everything that crawls upon the earth. This is the offspring. Okay? And he saw it was good. This is what was going on the 6th day. So this is a race, okay, to bring forth the most, fastest, the quickest, the best, okay? And let us make a man in our own image. Why is that even important? Why is in your own image even important? Wouldn't they already be in somebody's image? Unless we're talking about so-called race. Our likeness, again, to rule over the fish of the sea, that is your foreigners, and the birds of the air. These are your foreigners as well. And you'll see the water and fish on a lot of the coat of arms, and you'll also see the birds or the fowl of the air on a lot of coat of arms, and you'll also see livestock or a cow or something. And I have one I'm going to bring to you guys that's really going to blow your mind in a second. I'm actually going to just throw it up tonight before I go, well, this morning, before this day, before I go to bed. And all the earth itself and every creature that crawled upon it. Okay, so we're going too far into it, but I just want to reiterate. Is this what we're talking about? Are we in the fifth day? You know, I had to say it at least once. Okay. So being in motion, and they just won't stop. They won't stop until they fall off the end of the earth. They won't stop. Okay. So then that's what I'm saying about their lineage, the races, the breeds. 16th century, are we in the sixth day? Yes, we are. In my eyes. Okay. I bring the information, you discern. Okay. Possibly from Italian, unknown origin, Spanish, and Portuguese. We don't. This is when I skip over stuff is because it's being repetitive and we don't need to. So the root. Okay. Okay. Though they admit this might have influenced the tribe nation sense. Okay. Originally since in English included wines and characteristic flavors. Again, I'm trying to figure out what we're really talking about when we're talking about these wines. And I'm just thinking blood, maybe because, even they have you thinking or pretending as if you're drinking blood in church, in some of these churches. So again, sometimes I think that the wine has something to do with that as well. Okay. Just like when wine spills on something, it's going to be hard to get it out. When you get one drop of that blood in you, and it's hard to, well, it won't be that hard with one drop, but we had to come from, this is why I feel like it keeps saying morning and evening, the first day, and because we're talking about different sections and being turned over from darkness to light, so, okay. Group of people with common occupations. Again, these are common occupations. This is probably why they're called commoners. Okay. Servants. These are street sweepers. They're doing the same almost task, but they've been given the perception that they are not. Just like you've been given a perception that you are, and they've been given a perception that only you were. Even though we know historically that these people were enslaved too, they don't want to make not one movie about so-called white slavery, but they'll make several about these people. This is because they need everyone to be on board to keep these people down here. But if these people and these people got together and went against these people and stopped participating in their academics, their churches, their militias, we'll say, in their forces, their armed forces, and their stop voting for their kings, because that's what they are. They just gave you the term president, but then again, God put them to preside over the fowl of the air and the beast of the field. Think about that. Merchants, this has to do with your all entertainment industry, everything, your consumerism, the mega consumerism that we do. And don't blame these people that they're ruining the earth, because you're right along with them if we're over buying and consuming. You're going to consume yourself to death blindly, going with them. And they are the ones that have the families, that had the land, that had the cotton gin, and these families that have these businesses like Levi's and all these other families that go back for a long time. Samuel Adams and the liquor, and these are the people that had something to do with your enslavement, but you work for them and you purchase things from them and you over consume from them. The landowner, you pay them. You go to their courts. You do these things. You pay for your land. Even if you pay off your house, you're still paying taxes. Think about this next time you want to be mad at somebody. Because these people still don't have any power and they don't have any real belongings. Same thing as you. Even though they've been given a step up, okay? And they've been given the perception that they have, okay, and they've only been given that. They don't care about these people either. They've just been given that perception so they can keep you here, so they can play on your mental and keep you thinking that you're nothing. And it worked for a long time, because a lot of things that we let them give to us, like this music that people are listening to today, I don't even call it that. You know what I'm saying? If it is music, then I don't want nothing to do with it in general. So, and I did used to listen to it, but I had to make the choice. Lots of choices and sacrifices. These are the only sacrifices you need to be doing, is cutting off things like we just looked up in that pyramid. which is probably the thing that's floating in that part right here with these priests and academics. This is what have your third eye trapped in this damn pyramid that's sitting on top of that dollar bill. Original sense in English included, okay, we already read that, groups of people with common occupations and generations. Okay, so they had to come through somewhere. They don't tell you that breeding and things like this was a main agenda when it came to slavery at a certain point in time, meaning tribe, nation, or people regarded as a common stock. Again, stocks and bonds, livestock, stock market. You're being still. Are you still being sold on the stock market when on the stock market when you sign your babies up and yourself up for your driver's license and your birth certificate, and they give them that, tag them with that number, that social security number? Are you really sure that that's not the mark of the beast? It's by 1560. Okay. If these people have done all that, why would you trust them ever to take something in some kind of capsule, shoot it up in your baby's body while you hold them down? You don't know what's in it. You haven't done your research. You know people crying out saying that their babies were affected, and you still letting them put this shit up in you? Like you have to do it? Now, some states is mandatory. It's going to be mandatory probably for all of us soon. Really? Why would that have to be? Why would that have to be such a thing? Have you thought about that? And we look at our children today and we say, oh, something wrong with these children. Oh, look at is it them or is it you that you take them to these places and continue? I used to, but I don't know more. Again, so I'm not shooting anybody down or here to make anybody feel bad. I care about you and your children as well as I care about mine. So this is what I'm saying. If you're going to do it, do your research. And if you see something, why are we still, what happened to us? Why do we still go ahead and do this if we see what's going on? You even got so-called white women complaining about the fact that their children were affected by these. And you still go? You know what type of things that they supposedly did to your ancestors? And this is why we need to know who we are and where we came from and what the truth is. And is being manifest on a daily basis. One of the great divisions of mankind. Now, who is mankind? One of the great divisions of mankind. They call it great because God said it was good, right? He thought it was good. He was excited. You know what I'm saying? Based on physical peculiarities. You guys know that's a hard one for me. Is from 1774. Okay. Now, what was happening in 1774 and 1776? 1775. Is that when God could rest? Okay. Just being a Negro doesn't qualify you to understand the race situation any more than being sick makes you an expert on medicine. Dick Gregory. In mid-20th century, possibly, U.S. music catalogs, Negro something, Arabic Raz head. Suggest these derive from Arabic Raz head. Beginning, origin. Meant both race, folk, nation, and language. As a verb. Whatever that says. It meant to unite, to join. Okay. So again, is this what people were trying to do? Because they won't tell you about the fact that when some of these revolts and things happened, that there were people of all races there going against could we call it the Republic? The corporation? Again, to rush, okay? From Scandinavian source, akin, to the source of race. Reinforced by noun, To rush, headlong, hasten, enter rashly, meaning run swiftly, is from 1757, because, you know, a little bit after that is when you got your first president. And you know that, what is it called? In Washington, D.C., you know what I'm talking about. The tall, uh, you know what I'm talking about. um, Dang it, it's gonna lose. You know, we'll try to look it up or whatever. It's right at my tongue, but was put up because he was the first father of the nation. Could this be the father? I'm just saying. Sometimes what we mention in the Bible, could these be mere men and their story? Could prophecy just be planned? And then this infighting that they have going on, we're just in the middle of it because we lack knowledge of self and every damn thing else that they do. I'm voting for you, but whatever decisions you make and meetings you have, I've never been a part of one. Why isn't there just a public monitor in these meetings so that we can hear what the hell we okay with this? Your babies? We all right with that? And especially when it comes to the dead by law, they don't even have a real home supposedly, and they're not even really a people, so-called Negro descent people, American Aborigines really. You don't even have a real nationality. If you still run around here calling yourself black and ain't look deeper into the fact of why are we doing this when we don't look black, we're more copper colored, brown, red, yellow toned. And it's 2020 and we're about to go through this new census and we got this so-called president that has just been so-called impeached, which is, I'm just really looking forward to what's coming because I believe it's going to be something that we've never witnessed before. And let the games begin, whatever it's going to be, because nobody's paying attention. It'll just be a shocker to a lot of people because no one's paying attention. It's from 1809. Could be something good, could be bad. Like I said, you have to transitive sense, cause to run. Okay. Run with uncontrolled speed. Again, race, strong current of water. Could this be a flood? Is a flood and a current the same? We'll just peek real quick before we leave. Originally, any forward movement or swift running. They've been running on top of you all this time, but especially of waters. And I'm telling you in Genesis, when we're talking about these waters and this flood, you talking about foreigners. Some of them look like you, and some of them didn't. This is why I believe in Genesis, they said, let the earth go with the earth at first, because they needed someone to get in there, like, you know what I'm saying, to manipulate the situation. You know, all skin folk ain't kin folk, or brown skin folk ain't kin folk. Okay. A rushing, again, race, meaning a channel of a stream. And you have to second guess when you reading that in the biblical text, and you see river, stream, and all these. Just think about, reread it and use this way of looking at it, and then read it the other way. Oh, just again, play with it. It'll resonate with you, and it's gonna click. Something's gonna click, and then you'll see. Okay, let's go ahead and see what a flood is, just while we're here. And you know, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you do this on your own once in a while. When you step into etymology, you don't need any really other thing. You know, it's something that's like in synchronicity. It's like a thing that just, you know, it just does what it does. You don't have to force it. It just kind of flows with the biblical form and everything. To overflow from flood. Let's see, overflow. This is what we were just talking about. In transitive sense, to rise in a flood. Okay, so again, come out of you. Okay, so they came out of you and rose above you. Okay, 1775. Again, is this when God could rest? I'm just saying. Because all the stuff he said he wanted to happen just happened. Now he got all these people here, and now he could, then the Lord God takes over in chapter 2, if you notice. Look at that again. The Lord God takes over now, and he wants to collect from the dust of the earth. Okay, which the dust is if you think about it right now, if you kick the ground, some dust is going to fly up. Those are the loose particles that are over the earth. It came from the earth. It sprang up from the earth, but it's the loose particles, in order to form him a man that probably look more like himself, so that he can, just like he just said, let's form the man, okay? So that he can preside there and work in the garden, okay? If he got to trim back some of the bushes or the bush niggas, let it be. The bushmen, let it be. Some of their own kind, let it be. It's the race to everything, the greed, the wealth, the money, the fuel, the energy, the yours, even yours, okay? The natural ones from the earth, but you are the earth, so the natural ones from you as well. And this is why I don't let them get me all in the fit with this fake news no more about what's going on with our people. The only thing we can do is focus on ourselves, what we plan to do, where we're going from here, and think about our babies and their future. To rise in a flood, okay? The only rising that you need to be doing is a grand rising. This is the awakening. You need to jump on board. Figure out where you fit in. Everybody has a purpose, and all we really need is a plan, action. I think somebody put up the other day that prayer and belief and something like this, you have to, and they cross those things out, and then it said action. Now, it doesn't mean don't, if you feel that's what you need to do that, okay? But at the end of the day, we're missing the action. We moan and complain about these things that happen, and we go on the next day like it never even happened. Couple days later, weeks later, whatever. This is how they learn how to play on your mental. And you know what? When they pull us in, because they know that how this feels to all of us and what it does, you're giving them your energy. You're giving them there's nothing you can do about these things. They're either happening or they're not. The only thing you can do is focus on not selfishly, but working on your genealogy, working on things that are going to empower you and bring you back to a level of knowing that they won't be able to deal with us anymore. And if each one does this, each one teach one, if we start linking up like this and we get on this frequency together, then it's a wrap. This is why they're stopping us. This is why they spend so much money and time to block your third eye. And I'm just saying that in a sense of there's a part of the brain that we're not using because they filled it with so much garbage throughout our lifetime. It's a blockage there. With the foods we eat, staying in the house all the time, not getting enough sun, working, stress, fear, anger, all this stuff keeps us resonating in a certain level. And so they know how to play us while we're in that level. And it just comes off as bickering back and forth, especially when it comes to race between the two. When neither, just same thing what I said with brothers fighting on the corner about a space that don't belong to none of you. Okay, same thing happens when it comes to so-called white and black. You fighting amongst each other, nothing belong to you. When I die, and I know people use these things, oh, I bleed, but you know what? A dog bleed the same way that a pig do. That don't make them the same. Not to say that we're not. You see what I'm saying? But we don't have to use those watered down versions of things, okay? The thing is, none of us have power. We've only been given the perception of everything that we think we know. Water tide. Let's see. What else did we do? Flood, overflow in intransitive sense, to rise in a flood. Okay. Floodplain, 13th century figurative, opportunity for a great venting, especially in reference to tears or rain. Literal sense in mid-15th century, gate designed to let water in or keep it out as desired, maybe like a dam or something. which is why we've probably been damned. I'm sorry, y'all. I think I'm getting sick. I hope not. Hope this is just like allergies or something, because I've been dealing with some of my older books, dusting them off and stuff. So yeah, especially the lower gate of a lock. Okay. Excuse me. It's gonna just stay in there because I'm tired of editing. We all uh, burp and things. Okay, so I'm sorry. Excuse me. A flowing of water, tide, an overflowing of land by water. That's you. And then we go with the antediluvian times. Okay, a deluge, Noah's flood, mass of water, masses, masses, mass of water, a river, sea, wave. Just like we were talking about in that, I'm gonna show you something real cool when it comes to the waters above the waters and the waters below. That's this whole thing. These ones, or even here, and then the ones below. Because all these people are being used. These are all puppets right here. Well, these are these are the masses that are mentally controlled or mind controlled by media, in matter of fact. And then these are the people that are doing the said brainwashing and indoctrinating of the people, okay, for this energy or entity. And these are the ones that's having everything done to them. But everybody wants to not acknowledge that and think that we're talking about this Israel overseas because it makes them feel better to send their money there because, oh no, this is not happening. Just like when it comes to the Holocaust, they show their ass all the time. And this is why order has to be brought back. It has to be, there can't be, we cannot continue with the chaos. Order has to be brought back in. Okay? Or there will be no more you. And when you leave here, you're leaving your babies here. We're going to have to do that anyway, but you have to get a grip on what's going on in reality. Because a lot of other people are already leaving, going off the grid, leaving this system, not participating, growing their, you know what I'm saying? But stocking up food, doing all these other things, but they want to keep us lost in this energy where we just feel desperate and, unsure and unsettled and in fear. And, it's off balance and it can't stay that. It just can't do that any longer. And that's why I feel like we have help. It's not on the way here. And I'm not saying there's no aliens or I'm not saying no, it's all manifesting. How? I don't know. I'm not even going to pretend to know, but it's happening. So, but if we keep that hate built up and we keep blaming other people and not looking at ourselves and what we have to do in order to change it, because you can't wait for nobody else, you can't ask for nobody else, you can't march no more, you can't ask no more, you can't beg no more, you can't vote no more, you can't listen no more, you can't do no more. This is where we need to be right now in order to survive what else is about to be coming up next. To flow. Did we miss anything? I'm sorry, I told you I was going to let you go. But this is, stick with me. How long have it taken them to kill our mind, our health, body, wealth, spirit? How long? So again, if you don't want to listen to me, please do feel free to do it yourself. I don't care. Just do it, okay? We don't have time. And again, we don't need to read every single thing and see everything. You're going to just obtain some things. They're going to set off triggers in your DNA or your memory and your frequency, your energy, whatever the hell you want to call it. And things are just going to start manifesting. Things are going to be coming and being revealed to you. And whenever you see something, it's going to remind you of, and things are just going to come together and you're going to start seeing for what it is. A sudden abundance, a great quantity. Again, wait, where are we going now? Okay. Okay. let's see, flee swift group of ships under one command. Whose command or what command? God made beasts according to their kind, livestock upon their kind. God said, let us make a man in our own image and our likeness and the fish. I mean, did we just read this? Let the earth, that means you, bring forth living creatures. They came out of the earth, they were dead, and now they're living. Those people have already probably come, the people that you think are the ones that were dead and then came to life. Just saying. According to their kind, livestock, land crawlers, and beasts after their kind, and it was so. And it was good, remember? And it was so. And God said, let the waters bring forth the creatures and stock the land and and replenish the earth and rule over. I mean, so I think you need to do some fact checking on what, because you go ahead and admit it. We don't like to be feeling like we've been played. But again, the best thing you could do for yourself is wake the hell up. It's time to wake your ass up. It's been time. It's time to go. Once you start denouncing a lot of these things, all this dogma and all this other stuff, and what a sin is, and cussing and all that stuff is out the door. It's out the door. You've been deceived. So this is little stuff that you're going to do eventually or all the time and going to make you feel unworthy or like a wretch or like you're not worthy. Get out of here. If that's what type of energy you putting out into the atmosphere as a group of people, and the most powerful, mentally advanced people that you used to be, and you mean to tell me you're going to let somebody have you in that frequency for generations and people bringing you something that's going to open up your eyes right now and you act like you don't even know, you haven't even seen, you don't listen, you're not hearing? Hey, I don't care. Don't act like you don't hear. I don't do it for the likes. All I'm just saying is hopefully you'll go away doing some type of research. Because I'm not here to tell you what it is, what it ain't. I'm just here to share with you what it looks like to me. And I feel like it looks like this to other people, but we're all at different portions of our awakening. So it's kind of chaotic right now. But as long as we're moving in that frequency and we're moving in that direction, that's all that matters. As long as you can watch, okay, you can watch these movies as long as you see, it doesn't matter. If you have to send your children to school or you feel like you do, send them. But reiterate some shit at home. Did you see what I'm saying? Group of ships under one command to float, adrift, run, act of flying. We don't have to go back to the Bible to see that we just said the fowl in the air and let them fly above the earth. And let them fly above the earth. I hope we don't go over an hour, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this. Act of flying, act of fleeing. Move through the air with wings, winged insect, and then, kind of funny how some of these forces have wings or they get their wings, and, even when it comes to, just regular flight, okay. Hypothetical source, evidence, navigate swims, to wash, again, whitewashing or washing. Again, this is not so-called white people's fault, okay? It is the fault of the people that are in that house and have been closing in and out of them damn doors from the beginning, including Obama, your precious Obama. They have, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got to play their part. I don't know what it really is all about when it gets to that point. All I know is that they're puppets. They select someone, they feel like they're giving you a choice. Well, I'm pretty sure I can go around this landmass and find someone that is better equipped to serve in that political arena than a father and a son a couple of times, okay? You see what I'm saying? That keep promising shit that don't never happen, and you keep on casting a vote. Casting. Another thing you're doing. Spelling. Casting. Casting votes? Casting what? What is a vote? I don't know. We can look it up. But spelling, spell, and then dictionary, I was just thinking, it has like dictate is what I think. Who's dictating what you think you know? To be arguing with somebody that's bringing you something that's more open and resonates with you, but you rather go with what you've been told all your life to navigate, to float, swim through basin or basin, to rain or rain, REIGN, rainy, to wash, to flow, okay, pour out, wrath, swim, rinse, pertained or pertaining to flood, especially the flood of Genesis, diluvian. See, I've been looking at antediluvian, but if the antediluvian was around 1600s, what the hell are they talking about Noah's flood for in the 1600s? You see what I'm saying? And it says diluvian. I've never looked up diluvian. I looked up antediluvian, but not diluvian. Pertaining to a flood, especially the flood of Genesis. But it doesn't say Noah's flood. Up here, we're saying something about Noah's, the deluge, Noah's flood. Okay? So Noah's flood maybe around 1400. Okay? And then the diluvian around 1600, which was another flood. But I thought God promised not to send another flood. Well, of course, if you don't know what the hell a flood is, and you go into church and they deceiving you in that den of vipers, then, hey, especially the flood of Genesis. Flood. Inundation. Wash away. There we go. With your aboriginal. Away. Cast. Outcast. Caste system. Away. Combining from to wash. Okay, and this is why they never really showed you any images of those dark Indians. Those, what did somebody say the other day? Those, they said nappy headed. I prefer curly haired Indians that they wouldn't dare tell you about in your history books. Because again, it's his story. But we already know that he lies. Everything you think you know is a lie. And most likely it is the other way around. They didn't flip the script on everything. These immunizations are here to make you feel better, but they killing people every day. And I was about to use another word, but I'm trying to be good. My horoscope told me not to use curse words that much, and I'll be able to deliver my message a little bit better today. So I'm trying not to. And I don't normally do it, but I feel like when I get a little passionate and I'm on here sometimes, they slip. Hey. To pour over, overwhelm with a flood, inundate. Overrun like a flood, pour over in overwhelming numbers. Now, I didn't know that water can flood in numbers. Volume maybe, but in numbers, unless we're talking about people. Cataclysm, a deluge, a flood. And again, we keep talking about, did these cataclysms happen? They don't have to just be buildings falling down and crashing. The earthquake could also be the earth getting stirred up and about to do a revolt, or something, another thing they wouldn't dare want to tell you about, the hundreds of thousands of revolts and things. It ain't like we was just sitting here ready to die. Do it look like we like that today? And we done lost everything. Even our damn minds. And you think we sitting here today? They had problems. They just had bigger and better weapons. And when they're talking about these things were in the sky and they look like this and they had this, be clear that we could possibly be talking about not that long ago, okay, when all this stuff could have possibly happened. Okay? Prophecy or plan. And who's to say of what they had? I mean, we also keep hearing these things and seeing these things about technology in the ancient time? Was it that damn ancient? Was it more recent? Okay? See, and this is where I'm saying we're not that far away from when all this stuff happened, like they done told you. Okay? Originally, especially Noah's flood, 1630s. Again, are we in the sixth day? Because that's what was happening in the Bible in the sixth day. A flood of nations was coming over here. Sea of people. Deluge, flood. Okay, we're going to look up this word. To deluge, to wash. Okay? Clean. Oh, 1650. The cloaca. I don't know what the hell that say. Euphemism. Well, it's like it says euphemism, or why do I keep putting an M? Euphemism. Sounds like euthanism, but okay. Underground sewer, public sewer, drain, to cleanse, probably to wash clean, to dash over, to wash off, to rinse out. Let's see, to sweep. Let's go back. Sweep, sewer, used in biology in reference to eliminatory systems of lower animals. Oh, really? Well, what does this say? Outcast, out of cast, out of the system. Remember they was kicked out of the garden? Street sweeper, latrine, or toilet cleaner. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Used for washing. Liquid used for in washing. Washing what? Whitewashing? Washing out? What are we talking about? Is this why we see so many ads in the 1800s and things about bleaching your skin and washing? And now it's making a comeback, actually. 1620 back formation. Okay, so again, here's their firmament. Okay, which is their foundation or their structure, or whatnot. Past particle, to overflow, to run over. God told you that this was what he was going to do, or this is what was going to happen. At least one of them did. Okay. Wet, water, wet. Okay. Let's see. To pour over, overwhelm with a flood. Again. Overflow. Flood. Also flow over a brim or a bank. Oh. Okay. Yeah. So, again, I want to thank you guys for watching. I hope that I didn't bore you to death, but this excites me. Again, and it also always brings so much closure and a sense of knowing. Faith and belief may be good, but sometimes there's, what do we hear? That is dead without works. So, again, you got to do the work to get to knowing. Don't stop at belief and faith. You need to know. This is the age of knowing. Knowledge is power, but only when it's applied. Unity is key, but only when we have a plan to do something. And it doesn't even maybe have to be we keep saying why we can't unite. There has to be something that is stopping that. Maybe it's not about uniting. Maybe getting us all together in one space might make us an easy target. Maybe you stay where you are and start here in your head, in your brain. Start there in your body, your well-being, okay? Wealth doesn't have really anything to do with financial gain and money in my eyes. If it don't work, then you may, if it don't fit, you might have to quit. And that's the thing. We're going to keep running and not going anywhere. We're on the wheel, okay? Everyone else gets to jump off of it and go. But even foreigners when they come here, even Africans when they come here, even other people. And I'm not saying anything bad about them. I'm just saying what this system has allowed to be done upon the backs of the so-called blacks. So we have to point that out in order to bring order. Again. And this is why everybody has had their time. It is time for the mother. It is time for the woman. And I don't even like using woman. It's time for the empress to stand. It's time for her to stand for her children, even if they don't even look like you. And I'm saying your children, your immediate children, but also whether they know it or not, some of these people came through you. Okay? They had to come through. So, are you going to let your children disrespect you and tell you? I think not. And I can control my mind. I can control my temple. This is mine. So again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and head to bed. But think about this. I know a lot of people don't make it to the end of these videos. I know they don't. But please, at least take one portion of this and just really, if you want to, do your own research. I'm amazed at the amount of information that I did not know. When I was just saying, oh, I believe in God. Oh, you going to hell because you said something about God. We didn't even know. We don't even know. So again, once you know, and once you jump down that rabbit hole, you won't be able to, I'm just saying, you won't be able to come out. You won't come out the same way. But there's only one way, and it's up. Who want to go back down? We're ascending. Okay? Look at this. Hittite water. What is this? See? And this is why, I do run over. Hittite water, Sanskrit or script. Udra. Greek, hydro. Voda or Vandua. Gaelic. Gaelic. I don't know, water, wave, Gothic. But I want to pay attention to this. Old Church Slavic. And then Udra. Udra. Sudra. Pay attention to this. Udra. Look at that. Look at that. The creeping thing. Look at that. The land crawlers. Yeah. Let the earth bring forth living creatures according to their kinds. So, again, let them bring forth living creatures according to their kind. Darker view people that look like you, that are on the same team as these foreigners, whether they know it or not. I'm not saying everybody does know they're being used for this reason. But again, you should know that they're being used. And this is why they put them in front. Something happened, go wrong, they got one for you. Which one should we pick? Well, he really, to this crowd and this group, let's let Sharpton handle it. How the hell long he been trying to handle something? What the hell done happened? You got to realize, people, you something special. You just got to tap into it. You got to tap into it. And again, I keep saying I'm going to let you go, but this time I'm going to let you go for real. Tap into it. Everybody that look like you ain't you. And if they own that television, they damn well ain't for you because they work for them. And they will not get the airtime unless it is for their agenda. It will not happen. And this is why I denounce all these so-called black leaders at some point in time. Now, some of them woke up when it was too late. Listen to the way they was talking when they was alive and living well, and listen to the way they was talking a year before they passed away or were murdered. There's a difference there. Something happened. There was a knowing, an awakening. Think about the age. They say Jesus 30-something years. Most of these people was 30 in their 30s and 40s. Think about some of us that's in that age right now, and we waking up to this. And it's consuming you. It's like the earth is calling. You know what I'm saying? Because the blood. Okay? So I'm not saying that your so-called energy or source is not being spoken of in this book. Just be careful. And you should be able to see the ones that you need to look at to pull information from because of their works. You'll see them because of their works. And these are the works of the one that I feel we have been misled to follow. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up on your way out.